All right, welcome to yet another episode of the Empowerment Perspective Podcast. I go by the name of Demiso Josie alongside
Stacey Sanderson Dick.
I feel like we are taking it back to the very beginning. Even our first meeting was in the library. Not this one, but it was another one. And, we started the podcast journey.
Well, we tried to start it there, but I messed up and it was closed and we had to go in your kitchen.
That's true. I forgot about that. That was back in 2017. Felt like it was like yesterday, though.
It does.
Yeah, it flew by. And, we slowly built this monster. It's turning into a monster now. And I think it's a great thing. How do you think things are going so far?
I think it's great. And I think I need to step up my game and run with you guys this year. I'm ready. I'm ready to get myself out. No, for real this time. Like, I'm out of my way. I'm done caring what other people think. I'm ready to go.
Is that your 2019 New Year's resolution?
I'm not making a resolution. I'm just ticked off, so I realize I can't count on people you think you can count on anymore. It's up to me to do what I got to do.
Right. And well, they say if you when you talk about change, like you have to really get pissed off, and then you really will make that change.
I'm there.
People say it,
I'm there.
And then the other part, counting on people. I think we talked about this before. Like, I try to position myself where I don't really need anybody. If you want to help, that's great. But I try to put my family in positions where we don't really need anybody. And I think that is so empowering for my family. And my kids are learning how to do that now, too, which is awesome.
My disclaimer is that wasn't towards family or friends or anything. That's just towards business and politics. And all. I'm not relying on any of those establishments anymore.
Perfect. So, no New Year's resolution. How about a New Year's promise?
I need to get in shape. I'm like, I gotta stop eating cookies. I think lettuce is good to eat again. Like, I'm still eating the Christmas cookies at home, and I need to start moving. I get my steps in, but they're not steps.
Well, I just came from the gym, actually, so I've been trying to stay on my little regiment back again after, the holidays are tough. So I took a little break, ate like a pig, gained some weight, and then I'm back in it again. So, but I do have to take a personal story. Actually, I'm going to put a little spin on this one. This was more about, should my wife take it personal? As you know, and everyone know, I'm a huge Cowboys fan.
I know.
Right? So, I'm also a huge Sixers fan. So, for Christmas, my wife buys me tickets to the Sixers game. And now she says, I can either buy 4 tickets, we'll sit nosebleed, 2 tickets, we'll have just me and you, decent, or 1 ticket, and you get a really good ticket. I said, give me 1 ticket. Because I know they don't like it, first of all. So she bought me these tickets, 3rd row, center court. I'm like, all right, that's awesome. I look at it. All right, cool. Football comes out. Schedule comes out. And you know what I'm about to say. Sixers game's tonight, 7:30. Cowboys come on at 8.
Oh, it's tonight. You're going tonight.
So.
My son is going tonight. So what I can do for you is I can arrange him to take your 3rd row seat and leave my brother in his seat, and then you can watch the Cowboys lose tonight at home.
Let's see. So should my wife take it personal that I'm going to be sitting at the Sixers game with my phone watching the Cowboys game at the same time?
You need to enjoy the Sixers game. They play Minnesota?
No, they play Dallas tonight.
Yeah.
So
you can check. Trust me, they'll flash the score in there, and then everybody's going to boo or cheer. You'll know what's going on in that Cowboys game.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Xfinity's right there.
3rd row?
Listen, this is what's going to happen. If the game's a blowout, I'm out. I'm going right to Xfinity, and I'm going to watch the Cowboys game. And
But Dallas got blown out last night.
Oh, yeah, they played
Boston.
Boston. Yeah. That's a tough order for them. But
I know this. See how this is going, that I know this now? I wouldn't have known this last year, but since my son's all in, I have to sit there and watch all these.
Part of the New Year's promise.
Yes.
I get it. We're missing Kareem. Mr. Spence is, as I said before, our organization is growing. So he's actually in Atlantic City right now mentoring kids, getting our mentoring program off the ground. So,
awesome.
I'm also going to be out there on the 19th, I believe, and speaking to that group of kids. So we're really expanding. We have another person, Carmelita Graham, is working on. I said we're going to do this literacy program, financial literacy program, and she is working on it. The state of New Jersey just came out with a law saying that schools are required to have it, within their curriculum. And I kind of knew this was happening already, way back when. There is a method to my madness here, and we kind of wanted to put it together. And it was just when the bank that we were talking to decided not to do it, that was just like the green light for me to say, all right, let's make that happen. So our financial literacy program will will be dropping. We're going to probably pick up one school before the end of this school year, but the law doesn't kick in until next school year, so that's when we're going to get rocking and rolling. So any schools that are out there that are looking for financial literacy programs, make sure you hit us up at theempowermentperspective.com, and we'll make that happen for you. So an interactive type thing. Your kids are going to love it, trust me, and they're going to learn how to save their money and spend money.
I think the parents maybe should come too, because it's hard. I mean, we weren't really taught anything like that in high school.
Well, you have to have money in order to be taught how to use it, right?
Well, in New Jersey, it's almost impossible for anybody to have money right now. Disclaimer, I'll stop. I won't go that far, but I think I'm actually, it's one thing that New Jersey is doing that I think is a good idea. These kids need to learn that money doesn't grow on trees. You got to go out and earn it. You have to balance the budget.
Do you need a disclaimer now?
I'm going to stop, because I told you I'm a little angry, so I'm going to stop.
That is too funny. Well, we are in the Monroe Township Public Library. We have a special guest in the building today, and our MO, the Empowerment Perspective Group, has been like we try to expand our network, and I have actually 2 LinkedIn accounts. My personal one from I guess my nonprofit days and stuff, and then the Empowerment Perspective one, and I go in there and I link up with people every once in a while. I don't even know how we began talking, but this is like the 3rd or 4th time that I've linked up with somebody on LinkedIn, and that's really about something, and it's really out to help people for their health and their well-being. Also an educator, and the more we started talking, we figured out that we have a lot in common. We'll talk about that in a second. Ms. Christine Robbins, welcome to the Empowerment Perspective podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
I'm still nervous, and we've been doing it a year and a half, so you'll be fine.
It's just a conversation amongst friends at this point. So tell us about what you do right now in terms of, let's talk about the health and wellness aspect first before we go to your educational journey.
Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to tell you my story and kind of go back to when I started on this journey. So I just celebrated 2 years with the Health and Wellness Company. It was right before Christmas in 2016. I was 46 years old. I had 2 children. They were 9 and 7. My baby was 7, and I still had baby weight on. A lot of moms can probably relate to that.
Is that what I had?
Sorry, and dads. But, I was 46 years old, and I felt awful all the time. I was tired all the time. I slept for 8+ hours at night, but was still exhausted. It wasn't quality sleep. I had no motivation, no energy, this brain fog where I just wasn't functioning. And, at one point that year, I thought, well, I guess this is the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to be like. I'm probably about, at least halfway through my life, and this is what I have to look forward to. And then come December, I decided, no way. This cannot be what is in store for me. And somebody I'd met through networking actually had posted on social media transformations. And the pictures are very powerful, watching these people lose their weight. But what struck me was the stories. Every one of them talked about how much energy they gained by starting on this nutritional system. And I watched it for a while and eventually reached out to him and said, it's time we talk. Signed up the day after we talked. I started the day after Christmas, 2016, and I haven't looked back. I lost 35 pounds. I have maintained the weight loss. I have more energy than I did 10 years ago, let alone 2 years ago.
Right.
I'm a much happier person, which makes me a much better mom, a much better wife, and a much better educator, which awesome. I know we'll get into that. Right. But yeah, I mean, it sounds hokey, but it really was nothing short of a miracle for me. So awesome. Once you start fueling your body the right way, your body is going to do what it needs to do.
Right. And I think you got to that point. We talked about being pissed off earlier. I think you got to that point. It was like, right, enough's enough. And then you kind of just went and made that change. So in terms of what you do now with your health and wellness, like, do you go out and you help other people with their journeys as well? And talk about that process.
Absolutely. So it's really we're a word of mouth company. We do not do advertising, so it's network marketing, which some people, as soon as they hear it's network marketing, they don't touch it, don't go near it, that kind of thing. But the reality is, in a network marketing company, money isn't going into advertising, which is so expensive. So the money is going back into the associates who are selling the products, and it's going back into product development and developing new products and improving products. So that's what's great about that in terms of a company. But yeah, it's really just a matter of talking to people, getting the word out. Maybe somebody listening to this podcast has set New Year's resolutions. We're not a weight loss company.
Right.
I can get into some of that as we progress in the conversation. But weight loss is a very positive benefit of what we do, and a lot of people set the goal to lose weight with the new year, right? They set New Year's resolutions. But the process is really a conversation to see if it's the right fit for you. Introducing you to the company, the different solutions that we have, and then making the decision. And one of the key pieces of our system is coaching. So you get one-on-one coaching from me, walk you through the process. It's not like you purchase the products and here you go, you're on your own, see you later, thanks for the money in my pocket. That's not it whatsoever. It's a relationship, it's one-on-one, it's all about your goals and all about you.
Gotcha.
So,
let's talk about your New Year's resolution since we brought that up. And a lot of people struggle with this every single year. I'm on the fence of whether I should create one and not create one. But my philosophy is I think they don't work because people are looking at it in the wrong perspective. Like the behavior to me is like a symptom. Like you're looking at, let's say, weight loss, for example. We're trying to target that symptom. But the cause of the weight gain in the beginning is what you really should be going after. And people, I'll go to the gym, but your lifestyle didn't change. Like for me, I gain weight when I'm busy and on the road. So I have to figure out ways to change my lifestyle and my eating habits more so than me going to the gym all the time. If a client came into you, New Year's resolutions coming, we'll talk weight loss because that's what we're talking now. Like how do you feel about, what are some of the things that you kind of target in terms of making sure that they're successful?
So it's exactly what you just said. It's a lifestyle. So you have to change your eating habits. You have to change your activity level. The weight management is 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. So, I used to back in the day go to the gym and say, now I can have an ice cream sundae. No, it doesn't work that way. That's going to just negate everything I just did at the gym.
Right.
You need to fuel your body the right way, and then your body is going to respond. So I lost 35 pounds. I did it without exercising. It was all through nutrition.
Right.
But I also gained the energy to exercise. But in terms of resolutions, you have to change your lifestyle. And if I am talking to somebody about possibly starting on our system and they're not willing to do that long term, I won't take them as a client because you have to be willing to do that long term because it's not sustainable if you don't.
Right.
You really have to have the right mindset and you have to make the decision, I am going to do this and I'm going to do it for life.
That's really coming full circle because one of the things that we talk about in the power perspective is having a why. Like you have to have a reason why you're going through it. For some people, you finally reach rock bottom and you're just pissed off at it. Or some people that are, I'm just not healthy right now. For me personally, like I have a blood clot right now in my leg, so my lifestyle has to change and my diet has to change. One of the things I did also want to talk about is you mentioned having the right fuel in your body. And I'll use this as a car, for example, Like you can go out there and get the cheap gas in your car. Some cars can run with that. But if you have a luxury car, the more expensive your car is, the more expensive your gas is going to need to be.
Talk to Kareem on this one.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going at here. So having the right fuel in your body is essential. But how do people go about finding what is the right fuel for them? Because all of us are made up differently.
Right. Well, everyone's made up differently, but good food is good food, regardless of who you are. And one of the issues that we're facing in this country is our food is devoid of the nutrition that we need. So that's why, our company has developed products that will get you the nutrition that you need, the vitamins you need, the minerals that you need, and it's going to fuel you properly. Organic foods, you go and you look at the price tag and it's like, oh, I'm not spending that. I'm going to buy the, dollar store version of this, that, or the other. Well, you're getting the dollar store version of this, that, or the other. Organic foods are more expensive for a reason. They're better for you. They're the, ultra level gasoline. It's, they're going to fuel your body better.
Gotcha. So do you have a comprehensive plan if a client comes into you? I know, we're talking diet now, but like other goals and I guess mental, I guess, health as well, which is a big topic right now. So, your company, is it a comprehensive plan, or is it more just targeting certain things?
There's a comprehensive plan, absolutely, and it was all developed by scientists, nutritionists, and doctors. So, I am not any of those. I rely on our company for the resources.
Gotcha.
I just teach people how to use the resources.
Correctly.
So.
That's interesting. So I see you over there thinking, are you changing up your lifestyle and plan right now?
I think part of the problem with the New Year's resolution is people just feel like, okay, here's a deadline. I should make a resolution. I'm going all in. I'm going to change everything overnight. I'm going to do all this. And then they've almost set themselves up for failure because you can't sometimes overnight change everything at once. It is. They want everything, and then when they don't see results right away, you do the superfoods for a month, and then you're like, well, I don't have all the energy she has, so I quit. And I think that's where a lot of people just let themselves down. They don't give themselves that time, and like you said, they don't dig to the deeper reason as to why. Like,
it's not practical. It took me 40 years to put this weight on. It's not going to take me 2 weeks to get it off. You have to do the math on some level. And also you have to do your research and understand what specific exercises should I be doing and what I should be targeting. What should I be eating and for my particular body and things of that nature. So you have to do your research.
Right.
Also, I think your plan in terms of your goal, New Year's resolution, you got to have short-term goals too. Like, for example, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. I'm going to try that for this first week, and then the second week. And then I look at January, my goal is just to be in there 4 times a week. And then my 3-month goal is, all right, I might look at drop 10 pounds, whatever it is. So I think we have to sort of be realistic and space out our goals and things of that nature. Be really, really specific. And I tell people all the time, it's like kind of throwing darts at a dartboard. Like, you aim for, the bullseye. That's what your target is. You don't just blindly throw it out there. So you have to have a target of what you really want to do and build that up to that. Let's talk mental health for a second. Big topic here. I struggle with this because I feel like, specifically in the state of New Jersey, I think we don't have enough resources for mental health. And it's a big thing, not only just in kids, but in adults as well. What kind of things do you do in Target in terms of mental health, and how are you seeing a lot of clients coming to you with mental health issues, or is it more other wellness and health things?
I wouldn't say we address mental health in and of itself.
Right.
But I can tell you, with improved physical symptoms, you will have improved mental health. So, we are not a medical company. We are a nutrition company.
Gotcha.
We do have products that help with stress, which I think is a huge contributor to the mental health issues that we have in our country. But again, there's no medical claims whatsoever.
Gotcha. Stress. You stressed out a lot, Stacey?
No.
I think you're lying.
I'm lying through my teeth. I'm stressed out every day of my life.
What your source of your stress is probably coming from your family, but what are some of the things that you try to do to alleviate that stress?
I don't know right now. I'm trying to just take a step back. When I get frustrated and I feel like I'm at a point where I'm just about to break, instead of just exploding or releasing all the stress on everybody, I'm trying to take that awareness to step back. All right, what am I really mad at? What's really got me worked up? And not take it out on anybody particularly. Try to break it down a little bit before.
Right.
But sometimes they do things that make me mad. Like, it's not just stress. The kids, my husband. I mean, there's things people do that just.
So it's a matter of perspective.
Right.
Stress is, right? So you get stressed out when people don't see the world the way you see it, right?
No, I'm fine with different people having different perspectives. I get mad when people don't do the right thing.
According to what you think is the right thing. What's
that line from Billy Madden? Business ethics. Like, when you start getting into ethically, you're doing things incorrectly and you're doing things shady. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with that. When it affects my family, then I'm going to get angry.
Let's go. I'm going to change the direction a little bit before you go off the deep end. Let's say your kids, right, don't clean the house the way that you want it done.
Clean, period?
Well,
they don't. They're not good at that at all.
What do you mean? They try, don't they?
Not really. It's bare minimum effort. Is this enough to get by for today? Like, their beds are made, kinda. I'm like, no, this isn't.
But they may think that is clean.
No, they don't.
Your perspective is it's not clean.
It's not cleaned up. But that's on me. I should be harder on them to get it done.
I'll use me and my wife, I'm going to say we argue. We don't argue. But if I don't put stuff right in the cabinet, she'll get upset about it. But it's in there, and it's not falling down. But because it's not done the way she wants it done, she gets stressed about it.
I don't get mad at that. I get frustrated when he can't find it in the cabinet. And literally the other night he couldn't find something. It's not in here. It literally was right in the shelf on eyesight. All he had to do was turn the bottle around, and that bothers me. The inability to find it when it's right in front of your face. And I think that's a man thing because my sons are the same way. I can't find my hoodie. I can't. It's in your closet.
You got 2 on 1.
Is it a fair argument?
A man thing?
That they can't find things that are literally right in front of their face.
Because you probably put it in there, right?
Because you put it in there wrong and we moved it?
Yeah. It's probably
I'm not mad. If he puts it away, I'm good. Just tell me where you're putting it so next time I know where to go with it. We actually just had that conversation last night.
See, when I grew up, me and my grandmother used to get into it all the time. Like, you put your jacket where it's supposed to, but I know where it is. But you moved it now. I can't find it because you moved it. So I don't know if it's a man thing. I just think women want things in a certain way. And if it's not done that way, it's a problem.
Nah, I'm disorganized, so I can't get on him for that stuff. That it's not in the right place. But if you moved it from where I had it,
right,
you better remember where it went because it was there. It didn't belong there, but that's where I had, like you did. Like that's where my coat was. Like don't move it on me.
Right.
But I don't get mad when he doesn't put it in the right spot.
I got it. I get it. So
everybody's different.
Let's go back to we have a lot in common apparently.
Yes, we do.
I'm looking on your profile and I'm like, wow, University of Phoenix, and I'm seeing assistant principal, I'm seeing educator. Let's talk about your education background. Walk us through that journey. Why did you choose to get into education in the first place?
I wanted to be a teacher as long as I remember. I was one of those girls that grew up playing teacher.
With your dolls and everything.
Oh, no, friends. No, yeah. And then I had a younger sister.
Were they ever the teacher? Because I would never let my little sister be the teacher. I was the teacher. And
I was always the teacher. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And so it was interesting. So when I went to college, I remember being at a session with one of the counselors, and they said, if you want a job, go into special ed. Because, I mean, how many teachers apply for a job? I know I went to one and they said we had 500 applicants for one opening.
One opening, yeah.
So I did. So I opted for special ed. At the time I went to school, which was a long time ago, you had to choose a liberal arts major. You couldn't major in education in New Jersey. And I didn't want to do psychology like everybody does, sociology. I chose speech pathology. Gotcha. Which lent itself beautifully to a special education background. So, so I graduated with that. I also ended up getting dual certified in elementary ed. I was a teacher for 11 years. I worked in a couple different districts. I even worked overseas for 2 years. I worked on a military base in Japan, which, if anybody has the opportunity to live overseas for any period of time, I strongly encourage them to do that.
How's education over there?
Well, I was on a military base.
Okay.
So it was American.
It
was Americans, and it was, but it was a fascinating experience.
Awesome.
I loved every minute of it. So after 11 years, or I guess a little before that, there's some frustration, obviously, on behalf of teachers. More so now with all the state testing. None of that was in place back when I was originally in the classroom. But other frustrations. And so I decided to pursue a master's degree. Was considering going into administration. So I got my MBA through the University of Phoenix online, which I loved. I am not one to sit in a classroom and listen to a lecture. Oh, too fidgety. I can't take it. But I'm very good, very self-disciplined. Right. So I can study on my own. So that was an incredible experience. I'm still in touch with the two women that we went through the entire program together.
That's awesome.
So I ended up an administrator for 15 years. I was in a public school, and then I was the CEO of a private school for children with disabilities. This past spring, or I guess last spring technically, I realized that it was not for me anymore. We talked earlier, offline about the negativity that surrounds that kind of job. I desperately miss the kids.
Yes.
That's, I loved the mission of our nonprofit.
Right.
I did not love the job. So I left, and I have returned to the classroom, and I don't love every minute. I'd be lying if I said that, but I'm back where I belong. That
is awesome. A lot of people want to get into education administration. It's not for everybody. Let's just put it that way. And I kind of went in delusional. Like, I felt like I was going to be able to help all these different kids, and I would have more kids to help, and it just became so, especially as assistant principal, it's all negative all day long, and it wasn't really about, I don't feel like it's about educating them. So I have to find creative ways to make that happen. When I go into the classroom, I'll teach a class, and I'll put certain programs in, but I do miss that classroom one-on-one, and I feel like I'm really teaching these students. So those of you that are out there that want to get into educational leadership, it's interesting. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of politics too.
I was gonna say, is it like a politician? Like, you want to go in with the best of intention for your community, and you're going to make changes, and then you get there and realize that's not quite how the game's played, and your voice doesn't work the way you want it to, and you kind of just almost have to go into either I'm going to go into like a prevent defense mode and take, do what I have to do to stay. But I feel like they almost get squashed right from the get-go. It's not the perspective.
It's not. I mean, the problem is it's the system. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to work within the system, and the system is really restrictive in terms of what you can really do in there. So I just try to be creative and work within the system. Sometimes I'll step out the system, get my hand slapped, and I gotta get back in it. But hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I do what I do for the sake of kids. But it's tough, and I'm more and more I'm into it and looking at, especially even curriculum stuff. I just think we're missing the mark on a lot of things.
Yep.
And if there's any parents that are out there, the system's not changing anytime soon. So you have to sort of pick up the pieces where the school's not going to educate your kid about every single thing, and they're definitely not going to raise your child. One of the things that actually I told my staff the other day was back in the day they had the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? And which are important, but I think the 3 R's need to be reality, resiliency, and rigor. And I'm gonna break this down this way. Reality is that you're not going to win at everything. You're going to lose more times than you're going to win. Somebody's not going to like you. Mm-hmm. They're going to say bad things about you. Whether you're in 3rd grade all the way to you're an adult, it's going to happen. Right? So you have to understand that you're not going to win at everything. You need to have the resiliency piece so that you can cope with the fact that you're not going to win with everything. I think coping skills is a big thing that we are not teaching students in school, so parents need to kind of pick that up.
I think parents too, and I'm guilty of it myself, is we want to rush in and try to fix everything for them and make things as easy as possible, but we're not letting them fall and pick themselves back up, and that's been hard to take my hand. And I'm not cutting the pancakes anymore. I did last night because his hand was sore, so I did cut his roast beef up a little bit for him. But we had that talk last night because he was really ticked off that he'd hurt his wrist and thought maybe his basketball season was going down the drain. It's 2 months they play, and if he had to go into a cast, you're looking at 6 weeks. And I said, you have to learn, especially with sports, but life, there's going to be adversity, and you need to learn how to deal with it and absorb it. And you're allowed to get mad, and you're allowed to get frustrated, but that doesn't mean that you just give up and get ticked off at everything else. Like, you have to learn to adjust, and I think that's important that the parents teach that as well, because we tend to run in and try to fix things, and they try to fix things with the friends. Like, that's for them to deal with. Like, I'm not going to intervene unless it's like a dangerous something I have to step in. But
I think you're right. A lot of parents are stepping in and doing actually a disservice for their kids. And even if take your kids playing sports, right? And maybe the season's not going the way that they want, or they hate the sport. And I see parents pull their kid out of the sport in the middle of the season. I'm like, what are you teaching your child to run away from the problem instead of trying to deal with it, trying to figure out ways to get more playing time or whatever the issue is? Maybe I tell my kids, you sign up for something, you got to finish it. At the end of the season, you want to quit, then hey, you quit. But I think there's a big piece that's missing. I use the word rigor to really think about putting kids in a position to be able to solve problems in a creative way, and not necessarily, work ethic kind of goes in there too, but really start thinking out the box. So, reality says here's a problem. I have to be able to deal with the problem. Now, how do I change this so that I can learn from it and make it better so that I don't make the same mistake twice? The last piece, which I don't think schools do a good job of, is teaching kids how to network. right? And I think it's a huge part. And I think especially college age kids. So people go in there and say, I'm not college material, and I don't like school and all that stuff. College really is your time to network. That is the key to your success going out of there. Because at the end of the day, once you graduate, you're going to get a piece of paper and that's it. And the school don't really care about you after that. You paid your money and you go about your way. But the power of college and school, even younger ages, is the power to network. My brother talks about all the time. He went to the University of Penn. He had Eli Musk in his classroom. He had the guy that ran And One, the company. The guy came up to him and said, do you want to sell these T-shirts with me? He could have been co-owner of And One, but because he didn't know how to network and was never taught, he was like, I'm not dealing with that. He missed out on these opportunities. So I think schools, we need to do a better job. Even parents need to do a better job of getting your kids to network, even at a younger age. I think that's what we're missing there, a big piece of that. And we also talk about educating the whole child, which I can't stand that term because we don't educate the whole child. These kids are coming in the classroom with a whole bunch of baggage that they got out there. Until we start addressing out there, we're not educating the entire child. So schools need to be a little bit more community-based in reaching out and providing services. Any thoughts about what I just had to say? I said a whole lot today.
So I want to talk a little bit about the networking piece because I think we're going to see that getting worse with the lack of communication. And just like you, I'm guilty of it. When my kids are driving me nuts, it's get your iPads. I just need some quiet, and I know they'll zone out. But I actually had this conversation with my 11-year-old this morning because he has made a decision to leave the Boy Scouts. It's their, it's the end of the year. They're starting a new charter. I don't understand the Boy Scouts, but they're starting whatever it is they're starting, and he's decided it's not for him.
Right.
And that's okay. I felt it coming. I knew it was coming. He said, but I don't want to tell the den leader. I said, well, you have to tell the den leader, but I'm not good at that. Well, really, it's not a choice.
Right.
Well, I'd rather email him or text him. I said, absolutely not.
Right.
You have got to learn how to communicate that. And he said, I'm not a good communicator. I said, well, you need to learn. And he's 11.
Social media is not social, and these kids need to understand when you're sitting behind a screen and you're texting things, you're going to not have those skills when you're face-to-face or here. Like, I could probably text this in better than I can talking and right now doing it live, but
I'm on the fence. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm on the fence with it because this is how they communicate now, right?
Right.
Social media is how these kids are communicating. I think the key is teaching them how to communicate correctly via social media. You look at communication from a very basic standpoint. You have a sender, you have a receiver, and then there's a medium that you send the message through. Back in the day, our medium might have been a telephone.
Folded up note.
Might have been a folded up note, right? So today's medium is this social media. And it goes back to not necessarily going after the symptom, but going to the cause of it. The cause is the message that the sender is creating. So we need to talk about those messages that our kids are creating. You use whatever vehicle you want to send it out to the world, but if your message isn't positive, you're going to get feedback, and that feedback's going to be negative. I think the social media is not going anywhere. I think educators and adults need to be able to teach kids how to leverage it correctly and use it correctly. I think that's the key. I don't think social media is the problem. The problem is who creates the message is the problem.
I don't think it's a problem, but I think it's a problem when that's all they know. So you're still friends with the kids you grew up with.
Right.
I still have my close-knit group of friends that I grew up with. Like, I can have 1,000 friends on social media, but if I have 3 good friends in life, I'm good to go. I think some of these kids are missing that. It's about those numbers. It's about getting the likes. But they have that no value of a relationship one-on-one with somebody that they can go to. I think they get stuck in that little bubble sometimes, and we need to make sure they're putting the phone down and going out in a group and hanging out. Because if you ever see the group hanging out, they're all on their phones. And it's like, I hope you're not texting the kid standing right next to you, but you don't know.
But that's how they communicate, though.
But when you're standing face to face, there's a respect thing. There's things that they need to learn. You can't go into a meeting as a grown-up and get your phone out and text everybody at the meeting.
I do it all the time.
I'm sure you do. Nah, you're not going to put it in writing. No.
I just think even in business and the things that we do, we communicate via social media. We connect it via social media.
I use it a lot, but I also
it's just got
talk
to
to
be leveraged
people.
correctly. Yeah, of course. You have
Can't
to
be a replacement.
It can't. You have to. I agree with you. You have to develop that skill, that face-to-face communication skill as well. But I just think we just need to do a better job of teaching them how to use it correctly. It could be very powerful. I mean, the fact that I can go on my phone right now and text somebody that's on the other side of the world is crazy to me. Which also brings me to a point of when people say that they're not where they want to be in life and they're not successful in life, and there's so many tools and things that are out there that they're just not using and not utilizing, and it's frustrating. And I think a lot of us hide behind the fact, well, this might be the cause of what the issue is. I see it a lot in school, bullying and social media. I said this back in the day, we said the exact same thing. It was only 15 people though, and this made it 100 people, right? So we have to change the messages that we're sending out. Don't try to change the vehicle, because the messages, I'm going to still hurt somebody's feelings face to face, whether it's on there or not. So I just think we need to be more creative in terms of how we teach our kids how to use it. I know my kids are on there, and I monitor the things that they're doing, but we talked off air about my daughter wanting to have the slime convention thing. And she got the idea from social media, and this is how she's going to push that message out to those that want to do those things. I just think we just have to be a little bit more creative on how they use that stuff. But
I agree. It can't be the only vehicle they use. They have to be able to. And I think the school does do a better job now than when we were kids of getting kids up in front of the classroom and doing presentations. I remember my kids going up in like first and second grade and talking about a book they read. Like that to me was terrifying. I think my college speech and oral communications had to be 10 minutes for my final. At home it was 15. In class I think I had it done in 8. And I lost points because I was a wreck up there. Like I just couldn't do it. So I do like that the schools do have the kids getting up in front of the classroom doing projects that are more vocal, and they have to do slideshows and explain things. So I'm not against technology, but I'm against it when they isolate themselves and that's all the only way that they want to communicate.
Now look at you. You're talking to about 10,000 people across the world right now. See, that class paid off.
It did.
It's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's talk about the future of education. Where do you think the future is going with education? I know that we're talking a lot more dealing with mental health issues in school, and they want to do a little bit more of the, I'm using the term right now, but the emotional social learning thing. You think that it's going to phase itself out? Because a lot of education is very, what goes around comes around. So we're back in this phase of trying to actually deal with people as people. Do you think that we're going to continue this trend, or is it going to go somewhere else?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm not really sure. And, I mean, I've been in education a little longer than you, and, I do see some things coming back that, were around when I first started. But kids definitely don't learn the way we learned when we were in school. You're not finding the read from a textbook, answer questions, that dry kind of stuff. And, that's why a lot of parents aren't seeing papers coming home. And, generally as parents, we have no idea what's going on in school on a daily basis because they're not bringing stuff home. So I see a lot of that continuing because that is the way the kids are learning. You're getting a lot more of the electronics coming in. And learning through that. You have the e-textbooks. You have, the kids are using Google Classroom to submit their assignments. I never see my 11-year-old's assignments because they're all done online between him and his teachers. But luckily I can access his grades anytime I want to.
That's a nice perk to have. It's like, you didn't turn this in? Well, it fell out of my... No, you didn't turn it in. Where is it? Like, I'll come... Our teachers used to dump our desk. Can't do that anymore, right? That's frowned upon. I said, but I can come in and request to dump your locker and I'll do it. So find the paper and turn it in. So it is nice that every assignment's online and you can see...
I haven't checked my child's portal. I don't even know what the password is. My child's portal. My kids are so honest with me, and they get frustrated when they don't, they forget her homework assignments. I remember I was like, wow, she was actually crying. She, left her homework at school, whatever. And I remember those days, but eventually they're going to go away, and I already
enjoy them.
But that's how they're going to learn their lesson, right?
Right.
They have to fail to be able to learn that lesson.
That is true. So, how can people get in contact with you if they want to better themselves?
Sure. So first I want to say I am not a salesperson, right? So anyone who contacts me is not going to get the sales pitch and get talked into something that they don't want to do.
Right.
I am an educator. I just found a system that I absolutely love that changed my life. and I want to share it with other people. So, I guess that's my disclaimer, right? So they can reach out to me through social media, Christine Condi Robinson, Condi. You do use my maiden name. Christine Robinson's a pretty common name. I am in the South Jersey area. My email is healthywithchristine@gmail.com, and my cell phone number is 609-410-1426. And we are in 16 different countries in the world. So happy to even help people who are outside the United States.
That is awesome. So we have a tradition on the show. And after we get through the serious stuff, we kind of ask some random questions to get to know you a little bit better. My partner was here. He goes by the name of Mr. Petty. I don't know if you listen to any of our podcasts, but he's on this mission to find out if people are petty or not.
We're empowering people and making them petty at the same time. We're kind of a conflict of our own nature.
Yeah, he wants them to embrace their pettiness. He's very petty. He's just very petty. So because he's not here, I have to ask you this question. Would you consider yourself to be petty?
5 days ago, I would have said yes. But let me tell you what I did on New Year's Eve. I actually wrote down all of the things that were weighing me down, and a lot of them were petty. I wrote them down. I took them out into our, the little fire pit, and I burned them. And the ash blew away, and I let them go.
Kareem has to write it down.
Oh my!
Done.
He's gonna have novel after novel after novel. It's gonna be book burnings.
He has to write them down.
Oh boy.
We'll bring our marshmallows.
This is going to be interesting. So that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you embrace your pettiness and have let it go. Would you consider yourself petty?
I am petty with certain things.
And about putting stuff in the cabinet the wrong way?
No, I'm not. If he can't find it and it's right in front of him, then that's not petty. That's just, come on.
That's petty. You moved it.
It's not
that's
petty.
Why you couldn't find
I put it back and the label wasn't facing out. I'm not like, what was that movie where he had everything perfect? Trust me, my house looks like a disaster every day. I could blame Christmas right now, but it's kind of like every day.
Yeah, you still have your Christmas lights up?
Yeah.
It's over.
Epiphany's tomorrow.
Your Christmas lights still up?
Everything's up except the tree because we have a 10-year-old sleepover birthday party tonight. Everything else is still out.
Huh.
My tree's still holding up. We're not losing too many needles. We got it though super late. I was bad this year. Bad mom. With the weather, every weekend rain. Then between basketball practice and the tree farms close at 4:30 because there's no light. It was like down to the wire, so we got it late.
So what's the cutoff? Like when is it too much? Did you just had it up there for too long?
March? No, just nah. It'll probably come down next week.
I mean, as soon as Christmas was over, we was terrorists.
Well, you had your tree up early. You had a live tree.
Yeah, we had a live fake one. Yeah, we had two. And our cats that we just got are climbing up in the tree.
I couldn't even imagine. I've seen my friends that just decorate like the top 3 feet of their tree because the cats are just in there all the time.
That is interesting. So a couple of announcements before you wrap this up today. Don't forget our financial literacy program will be coming out soon. Carmelita Graham is working on that right now as we speak. Our mentoring program is starting to shape up. Shout out to Kareem who's out in Atlantic City right now. Innovative schools, we're coming. Atlanta, I'm really, really excited. About to send the contract back, Kelly. I know you're waiting for it. But we'll be out there at the end of June. Actually, we'll be there from June 18th to the 21st, speaking on how to reach and teach today's hip-hop generation. So if you're in the Atlanta area, Innovative Schools, make sure you come out and check us out. We have a pre-conference workshop, which is 3 hours, where we really dig into how to reach and teach today's hip-hop generation. And then we have a couple of breakout sessions the following days. After that, we'll be in Vegas in July doing the exact same thing. And a bunch of other speaking engagements and stuff. I'm going to re-release Life Music again. Might add some few things here and there to it, and some extended version to it. So that book is coming out. I'm also working on Today's Lessons book that is coming out, and I'm going to drop a Today's Lesson soon, so make sure you check that out as well. I think that's it. You got anything to add?
No.
That's it. Well, we're off the radio too, so shout out to S&J today. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes.
But we're actually going to be spreading our wings, and we're hitting the road again with the podcast. I'm trying to get to DC and Baltimore. We're coming. Just got to figure that out. And California, we have to get out to you guys too. So a lot of things going on here, and we're going to make it happen. But any last words of wisdom?
So even if you don't have a resolution, I think, like you said, start making those smaller goals, attainable goals. Don't try to go all in at once if you know that's not your personality, to stick with it. I was trying to sit down with my kids last night, but because we had some hiccups in our day, we didn't do it. So today, hopefully when I get home, we'll sit down and we're going to have one health goal, food-wise, something we're going to either eliminate or make sure we're adding, one fitness goal for the week. And I'm going to try to meet up with them every week. We all have Fitbits. We're going to start wearing them again because I think that's part of why they're wanting to be on the video games too, is that we're not really pushing them to do a whole lot outside, especially the weather and stuff. It's tough, but we are going to start breaking it into small, attainable chunks and then adding and adjusting as we need to go.
Make sure you also include your children on the decisions of their goals too. I know a lot of parents and teachers kind of set the goals for them and not give the kids the voice to, and then it becomes your goal and not their goal. So
right.
Make sure parents out there, you give your kid an opportunity to have a voice. Any last parting words?
Sure. So I work with a training group, and instead of setting resolutions for this year, we chose a word and a phrase that were our power word and our power phrase for 2019. So I encourage you to do that. My word is opportunity. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was so nervous about this, but as soon as you put it out there, I was like, yes, I'll do it. It's an opportunity. And then my power phrase, which I got from Nike, is just do it, because I tend to overthink things. And I have got to get past that. I've got to just do it.
Isn't that where we started 18 months ago?
Sorry. It's very interesting. It's interesting you should say that, because I was actually thinking for my last words is stop listening to me. And I'm going to say that because you've heard all the speeches, you went to the conferences, you read all the books, you did all your research. I mean, all these motivational speakers are really saying the exact same thing. They're just saying it a little bit different. It is time to stop trying to do your research and just do it. It's time to take action and start. And put that notebook away. Thank you. And start doing it. You're at the point, like I said, if you followed us for the last 2 years, you've heard us talk about a lot of things, and you should have your blueprint right now. And it's time to go out there and take action. Get off the couch, go to the gym, work out, whatever it is that you need to do, eat healthy, go back to school, whatever it is that you have been putting off. It's time to start doing it. Stop making excuses, saying that you don't have time. I hate that when people say I don't have time, but then they binge watch Netflix all day long, Bird Box, that new thing that's out right now, and all that stuff. So you have time, and make sure that you organize yourself and go out and make it happen. Make 2019 a year of action, and stop listening to people. You got all the information that you need, and go out there and do it. So until next time, make sure you check us out at theempowermentperspective.com. We are on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, we're all over the place. Until next time, stay empowered.